Suidlanders, good afternoon, Suidlanders. How are you? I suppose that we have to say something about the elections. The South African nationwide municipal, district, and provincial elections held today, being the 4th of November, held 3 days ago. 2 days ago. What is there that is worth saying? The African National Congress lost, oh, my computer is so slow, lost about 8% of its support, of the total vote, which is a big thing. To lose 8% is a great deal, but it's worth bearing in mind that the DA did worse than expected. And therefore, it's not as if a bad thing lost traction against a good thing. It's not as if there's some special reason for hope that everything's going to be okay now, or there's a ray of hope on the horizon, or we can believe that look, the ANC polled 46% of the vote. In countries where there's very vibrant democracy, 46% of the vote is sometimes a good performance. I think of the recent German elections, where the CDU and those other parties. Let me bring it up quickly. German election results. There we go. I'm going to take the Wikipedia one. So the Social Democratic Party, for those of you who don't know, Social Democrats or social democracy as a political philosophy is one step before communism. Social democracy means socialism, which is not to say that they're going to implement a totally Karl Marx style socialism in Germany overnight, but that is the value system meant by that party's name. So the Social Democrats polled 25.7%. They're fundamentally the winners of the election. The Christian Democrats, who it's not a very well known thing, but the Christian Democrats in Germany is in fact an amalgam of two parties, the Christian Democrats and the Christian Social Union, which is like roughly speaking, I'm generalizing a little bit, but in the south of Germany, which is Roman Catholic, that is the Roman Catholic version of the Christian Democratic Party. They got 24%. So 25.7 versus 24.1. The Greens got 14.8, and so on. 11.5. The AFD 10.3, and there you have it. Right. So my point is just the fact that the ANC polled beneath 46% doesn't mean that they have no support. It means that almost 1 out of every 2 voters remains committed to them, and the other 1 out of 2 voters is split up. His support is split up over many different parties. Is it a good thing? It depends this is now purely a matter of opinion. This is not some kind of Saitlander's official policy. This is just my opinion. I think that it depends upon, your outlook. Do you want South Africa to continue muddling along and declining, as it's bound to do? The trajectory is clear, and there's no suggestion that the trajectory is going to change, much less halt, much less again reverse. Do you want that? Are you afraid of some dramatic development, nog van die lang messe? You want to keep that away for as long as possible? Or are you what's known in the United States of America as an accelerationist? In other words, you want the society to reach its terminal decline as soon as possible so that it can be remedied. Do you want the crisis to come to a head, so to speak? I have my own attitude on it. The point is just that it's not necessarily a good or necessarily a bad thing. It depends on your outlook. If you are one of those people who is hoping that the crisis in South Africa will come to a head as soon as possible, you hate living in the society as it is, and you would rather see a tremendous fight, a civil war, a fight to the death to resolve the madness, then this is a good thing for you. Because the African National Congress will be frightened by these results, and they will resort to drastic action to strengthen themselves in advance of the 2024 national election. But the drastic action that the African National Congress will take will not be working 14 hours a day. It will not be arriving at meetings with a pen and a pencil and a rubber and a ruler and a piece of paper and taking diligent notes. It won't be diligence and conscientiousness and hard work and productivity and industriousness and virtue and merit. It will be resorting to radical economic transformation to shore up their support. And that will bring a crisis in South Africa, maybe not to a head, but it will take it in that direction. I often tell people that it's my own personal opinion, and I don't speak as some great political analyst. I really am not. I'm a layman observer. But in my opinion, the cause and effect relationship within the Zimbabwean economic crisis is mistakenly reversed by most people. So in other words, people get it back to front. Most people believe that the economic crisis in Zimbabwe was precipitated by land reform and the reaction of the international community to land reform. In my opinion, land reform came after the Zimbabwean powers that be began to recognize that an economic crisis was inevitable. Once they saw that it was inevitable and unavoidable, they began to hand out land ostensibly in the spirit of righteousness and justice, but actually, in my opinion, because they wanted to shore up support so that they would endure, so that they would prevail as the dominant political power through a forthcoming financial crisis. I could be wrong, but that's the way I see it. And similarly, I think that the African National Congress is now going to resort to more cheap tricks than it has resorted to in the past to ensure that it doesn't lose more critical support in advance of the 2024 elections. What it's not going to do is become virtuous. It's not going to, they're not going to say, right guys, now we have to work hard and we have to be conscientious and we have to be diligent and we've got to be... No. If anything, they will resort more to vice because they have another solution. In other words, they have less reason than ever to be virtuous because they have the option, which I believe that they're going to exercise. They now have this option of resorting more than ever to radical economic transformation. So that's just my little take on the election results. The African National Congress have lost a lot of support, but I don't think that it makes much difference to anything. I do think that it will lead to them resorting to, as I say, vice, bad behavior, badness, to protect themselves so that they remain in power in the 2024 elections. That, as far as I'm concerned, is the long and the short of it. And I personally don't take much of the commentary on, social media and mainstream media very seriously. I think people are waffling about nothing. They're talking for the sake of talking because their editors have given them a mandate to write 1,000 words or whatever on the elections. And I don't think that there's much of any substance to be said. And let's see. Who knows? Maybe we're right. Maybe we're wrong. Time will tell. All right, everybody. Thanks very much for watching this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. And we will speak to you again very, very soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.